Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today I'm going to be sharing an awesome new deck with you. This is the Find Your Magic Tarot, published by US Games Incorporated. You can see up there, it's written by Julia Manzi and Sarah Rochlich, I believe. Not me. When it comes to pronunciation, I'm just terrible at it. You know this already. But this deck is really awesome, and I found it on sale on Amazon a couple days ago, where it was only like $11, $12 tops, and regular like 30. So it was really on sale, and I fell in love with it. Some of the illustrations, it just seems to scream, the way that I like to read, empowering and inspiring. And I liked the reviews a lot about it too, because those reviews kind of said, they don't exactly make sense. To me, personally, they made more sense than other decks, and I'm really excited to get into this and see what the illustrations look like and share it all with you. You're seeing it the same time I am, so if it calls to you and you love it, then I'll leave the link in the description below. I cannot guarantee it's still going to be on sale for as much as I paid for it, but it's worth it no matter what, because look how thick this box is. You see that, that thick. It's really big, and so the card should be absolutely gorgeous, and it's all nice and safe in the box. The box itself has a little, I don't know if you can see that, a little dent right there, but that doesn't really matter to me. I don't know if it matters to you or not, because this deck is going to get out, it's going to do readings, it's going to share that magic with others to help them find their own magic, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And I am in love with how this box opens. Look, it's like a drawer. That little hole right there, you just stick your finger in that hole and pull out, and there is your deck. Get the nice little side-by-side thing there. I don't have a deck that's like this, that's set up like this. I know, the Lewin decks, they also have that kind of look to them, but they kind of come in half. And this one, it slides out like a drawer. It's so cool. Here is the guidebook for the deck. Ooh, and the colors, it's fully illustrated right in there, the colors and everything. So you have the guidebook right there that, can help you. If this is the deck that calls to you and you're just a beginner, this might be the perfect deck for you. As you look at the cards, as I look at the cards, we're going to find out if it's the perfect deck. Now, that is really cool. There's the box and everything, but the deck is still safe in a completely other box. So I love that little addition, because you don't have to drag this with you if you don't want to. It's got its regular own, what do they call this, tuck box right there with it. And you see there's the back, there's the side, there's the front, which is the front of the box, and that side too. So you've got the same deck, a nice little safety box in there that you can keep your cards in. And they are not in plastic, so I don't have to worry about getting that little hole there to open it. I know that you might have noticed I had a little hole already made on the main box so that I didn't have to use the handy dandy scissors and all. Okay, we're going to go through the deck, look at all the illustrations, and like I said, there's going to be a link in the description below of where you can purchase this deck for your own collection. And of course, if it calls to you and you want that reading from it, let me know by commenting on the video. Message me on either the socials or booking one directly on my website, because when you book one on my website, what I will do is send you an email as soon as I get that confirmation, that order number. I'll send you an email and ask if there's a specific deck that you want for your reading. And you can say the Find Your Magic Tarot, and that is the deck I'll use. Okay, first illustration is so cool. I love this. Instead of a dog, it's a cat. That cat's I'm up for whatever. I'm the one that's able to balance. The Fool is, balancing. It is a balance act. You don't have all the answers yet, but go. Fly free. Go after what you want. That's such a cool illustration right there. I really like it. You got the 0 right there, so they are numbered, which is really cool. 0 numerology doesn't really have any energy to it, but it's the cosmic egg. It's the idea behind the action. The Magician is the next illustration, and there you see the backs and everything. Very simple. So you can read these upright or reversed. You don't know which one you're getting. The Magician is right here. You see she's got a lot going on, doesn't she? There she's checking her phone, maybe checking her social media. She's got this book open that might be recipes for what she's doing, and she's got something in her hand right now, adding it to it. So, a lot going on. You got to fake it till you make it. You got to take all of the knowledge around you and do something with it if you want to make the Magician alive in your life, if you want to become that magician. The High Priestess follows the Magician in the sequence. There is that one. You see the B right there of Boaz and Joaquin up there. And you see she's a nurse or she's a doctor. And it's kind of, that empathy and that kindness and that strong intuition of that knowledge. And I like how all of the like letters and stuff, all of the information there is kind of blurred out. It's like kind of reminding you to trust your intuition and look within. Empress follows the High Priestess, and there is the Empress with her prize-winning pumpkin, it seems. Empress, a lot of times you see the pregnant woman sitting there in the field, and pregnant with actual life. But this kind of reminds us, the card of creativity and creation itself. When we create anything, we become the Empress. So, trusting our intuitions, faking it till we make it as we take action on our ideas that we're full for, can lead us to being the Empress and creating the lives that we love and enjoy. The Emperor is next. Oh, and I love this because this is all, he's got his cats. He's that strong foundation all on his own. He's got the witch hat. He knows his power. He knows his worth. I don't know. I assume this is a man with a witch hat and stuff. It looks like a man. So that energy there, that Emperor, it has authority and power, but it's kind of like, it doesn't need to be all that struggle, all that like masculinity about it. And it's a really, really beautiful illustration because, he's even got the lint roller because those cats are there. So he's still in control, but if those cats trust him, he's a good person, I think. Hierophant is next. And honestly, this Hierophant is the reason that I fell in love with this deck. Because the way that I see the Hierophant is not a way many people see it. If you read the descriptions in the books and things like that, it's almost always, there's two key words there, they go together: structured religion. Now, if you know me, you know that I just don't follow that. And I'm not here to speak religion or anything like that. But I will say, my personal opinion, there are 4,000 recognized structured religions in the entire world. Who's to say one is more true than the other? So this Hierophant, this is the card that really spoke to me in this deck, because look at all those different hats. Look at all that stuff being offered to her. Look at all those paths that other people tell her she has to follow. She's putting them all on. She's learning from them. That's how the Hierophant to me is seen. Seeing it as the teacher card of the tarot. All of these different religions, all of these different paths and different opinions can be the knowledge and wisdom we need to change and transform our lives for the better. So yes, the Hierophant in this deck, I know it's already one of my favorites. I don't know if there's another one in here I'm going to love, but I just love that energy there. Everything coming at her. Follow this, follow that, do this, do that. If you don't, you're going to go right down under. And learn from these experiences. Let those experiences and the opinions be the teachers we need to change and transform our lives. Yes, I just love that. Here is the Lovers illustration, two beings coming together. It's kind of, a little more risque. I think that's a good enough word. But you have that lover's energy there. You find that love for yourself. You don't care what anybody else thinks. You follow your own path, love who you are. Those people that love you for you are going to find you. So that is still an absolutely beautiful illustration. Makes it kind of unkid friendly per se, but you're not actually seeing anything there. So I suppose it can still be kid friendly. Deviant moods, like the pointy boobs and everything. That's not necessarily kid friendly. This one's a little bit closer to it. The Chariot actually is unicorn, so I think this one is definitely kid friendly. That it's kind of like giving me like pride vibes and stuff. Just be true to you. When you love yourself, like that Lovers tells me all the time, you can find that confidence, get behind the wheel in your life. Follow what feels right to you and drive yourself to the success that you deserve. Strength is a very interesting illustration in this deck. You see there, like a tooth fairy is giving her medicine. She seems to be sick in bed. There's a mouse or something on her head ready to give her a shot. So, use your imagination when you're sick. Believe that you're feeling better and you can find the strength to keep going. The Hermit follows Strength in the Major Arcana sequence, and there is the Hermit. Seems she is living in her van, or she's just off for this drive. You don't need somebody else to take the wheel. You don't need somebody else to be with you. The Hermit says spend that time in solitude. Even if, your house is filled with people and all stressful and everything, this card kind of reminds you that get in your car, turn the music up really loudly, that you really enjoy, and just sit with your thoughts. So I really love that illustration. The Wheel of Fortune is next, and this is a really fun illustration, isn't it? Because you see its potential, its idea, getting behind the wheel again, spinning that wheel, that spirit, that confidence you need to just go after what you want. There he's got that flower. He's picked that flower. So, finding beauty in everything as you spin the wheel and you begin that next chapter, you have a ghost of an idea of where you want to go, but you spin that wheel, you believe luck and good fortune are on your side, and you're one step closer to finding that. Justice follows the Wheel of Fortune. Right here is that illustration, and what a fun, interesting illustration right there. I've never seen one like this, like Justice. You've got the scale up here, though. You can see that. And it's kind of like not really there, kind of like that Wheel of Fortune. So you have to believe that life can be more fair and balanced before it'll actually start being more fair and balanced. So that's a really cool illustration, isn't it? The Hanged Man follows Justice in the sequence. There is that illustration, and it took me a minute to figure out what was going on, but yeah, she's hanging upside down from her like bunk bed or something like that. Oh, no, it's not a bunk bed, is it? That's her porch, and she's hanging upside down from that. I wonder how many stories she is up. That's a very fun illustration. I would never recommend doing this. That seems far too dangerous. But, to each their own. Death is the next illustration in this next card, and the next illustration we will see. This is an interesting one too, isn't it? Like, he's got all this light about him. He's facing his own reflection and facing it in the mirror. So I guess he's like telling himself what needs to go, what needs to fall away so I can find that strong foundation that I deserve. So different take. Like, that's what this deck is so interesting, and why I love collecting different tarot decks, because each one has a different story, speaks something else that we don't see otherwise. So the guidebook's really going to help with this. I think it's really going to add more to it. But the illustrations themselves definitely speak of magic and everything right there. Temperance, she's sitting there, she's learning. There's all the books and everything, all the books are right there, like taking the pot of coffee and magically putting it in there. She has no doubt. She's tempered the doubt. She's applying the knowledge of the past into the present. So that is a really cool illustration. I like that one a lot too. Floating on a pillow would be fun, wouldn't it? The Devil follows Temperance. And this is an interesting illustration. It kind of gives me vibes, it kind of relates back to the Lovers of the Major Arcana. You have that energy there, the temptation and the opinions of other people, finding that love interest that, holds us prisoner and keeps us from finding that love for ourselves. So that is a really interesting take on the Devil. The Tower follows that, and that definitely looks like a tower that is meant to fall, that is fated to fall, doesn't it? Because you got all these different looks like the Oogie Boogie Man from Nightmare Before Christmas, but you have all of those, and she's stacking them, and it's kind of lopsided to begin with, so the tower's going to fall whether she's ready for it or not. The Star follows the tower, and this gives you like strength vibes, doesn't it? Because there's the bed again, hospital bed, like that fell on you, and you kind of got injured by it, so you're in the hospital now. But that illustration, finding that magic within, taking that time to learn from the tower experiences falling so you can find those hidden talents. And sometimes we have to lose it all. We have to get ill in order to come back from it and learn what we have to learn from it so we can become the stars of our stories. The Moon follows the Star, and there is that illustration. Really interesting illustration there too. She's pregnant with new life, it seems, and that one gives me like almost like the Death card or the Deviant Moon Tarot, because it's like the kid is like, it doesn't seem like I want to go back. It seems more like, I appreciate what's coming, and you've got the water and everything there, learning from the ones that have come before us, trusting ourselves and trusting our dreams, having faith that we have what it takes to find our days in the sun. There is the illustration of the sun, so whimsical, so fun. She's got this white leg, and she's got that regular leg, I guess, and she's flying free. We find that confidence no matter what we look like, no matter what our past might be. Finding that joy within can help us find joy externally. And then, of course, there's Judgment, and what a fun Judgment card. I cannot imagine how terrifying, but how enjoyable and how just magical it would be to be in that kind of situation, to be a musical artist and have all these people like cheering for you. You gotta have confidence to keep going. I always use my favorite band, Nickelback, and the lead singer Chad Kroeger especially. Imagine that's him. There are times when that band has been booed off stage, has had things thrown at them, and it was actually popular, a popular fun thing to do apparently, to hate them. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, that's been my favorite band since I was like 15, like way back in 2001. And that energy there, like, you got to have that confidence to keep going, and that band definitely does. So that is a really beautiful, and I love that take on Judgment. Then of course we have the World, and she's definitely got her world, the one that she wants. She's got that flower and everything. She knows her worth, she knows her power. She's feeling on top of the world, because just look how magical and how enjoyable that bath looks. Yes, as someone that only family has a shower, I definitely could appreciate this with all those vines and everything. Make your bathroom into like a garden, like have plants and everything growing around it. Just be magical, wouldn't it? The sword suit seems to be next in this deck. I've never seen one that sets up with swords. Usually, it's the positives to the negatives. Sort of, you've got cups, then wands, and then swords, and then pentacles, kind of as above, fire and everything to below. But hey, once the deck gets shuffled and everything, they're not going to be in order anyways, are they? So there is the Ace of Swords. She has the sword, which is a pair of scissors. I have this great idea. I'm going to cut my hair while I'm sitting way up high on a scaffolding board. So that's an interesting Ace of Swords. The Two of Swords, very interesting illustration. I really love this because it's like tune out the distractions, and she's on a subway, so she's definitely tuning out the distractions. She's holding that backpack because she doesn't trust people. She doesn't, just kind of just about her, focused on her life, her story, and she's not letting, the people around her distract her from focusing within. Three of Swords is the card of heartbreak and betrayal. Here is that illustration. That was weird. There's like gloss on this card, and it's like, whoo, it kind of closed up. I don't know if you saw that. But the Three of Swords is the card of heartbreak and betrayal, and you see that illustration definitely seems to scream that. The Four of Swords, kind of like the world there, appreciating that rest and reflection. You don't have to necessarily lay in bed. Or the Deviant Moon Tarot, you don't have to lay underground or anything like that. But it's just taking that time to rest and reflect so you can find that magic within and believe in yourself. Five of Swords is the victor or victim card. So this guy has apparently woken up and decided that he's a victor or a victim. So you've got that change and transformation energy with that card. And it's very interesting, like the water and everything, the emotions. He's come up from it. Like this illustration, he's kind of swimming in it, being reflective. So he can come out of it. He's found that strong foundation. And he's kind of sitting there like, I found my worth. I can be this victim or victor. I've been a victim before, hence the sadness and everything on his face. But I can be the victor of my story. Six of Swords, that's the card of finding peace and harmony within, so we can find peace and harmony externally. And that kind of like reminds you, you don't have to go at it alone. You've got all those handprints, all those people that have taken advantage of you in the past. You find that person that just seems to, bring you calmness and clarity. You can have them help you find that peace and harmony that you deserve. Seven of Swords is the Thief card of the tarot. Very interesting illustration there. He's got one of those dolls, bringing pain to suffering to somebody that's stolen from him, perhaps. So it's, finding that confidence, to steal back that confidence so you can find your worth. Don't recommend, necessarily going with like black magic and stuff, because what's the Wiccan religion say? But, what you do to somebody else comes back to you threefold. So maybe not the best idea, but definitely stealing back your confidence always is. Eight of Swords is the card of feeling like a prisoner to your own mind. There is that illustration, and there's a lot going on there. The glass ceiling coming down on somebody, there's doubt and the anxiety and the worry and everything, just making you feel like you can't find success. You have to free yourself from that prison of your mind. She's below it. So when she gets out of her own head, when she trusts herself, then she can, find the success that she deserves. The Nine of Swords is the lying awake at night, worrying about what the future might have. Inner demons giving us nightmares at night or day, depending on when you sleep. And you see all those ghostly hands and everything pointing at her. And the other guy's asleep in the bed, so he's not even, he's not part of this. But she's got the Ouija board and everything going. And she's, the anxiety and the worry and the opinions and voices of others seem to be keeping her awake and making her, not trust herself. Ten of Swords is the card of wanting to give up, throw in the towel, lay down and die. And there is that illustration. And it definitely screams that, doesn't it? See all the little shards of glass and everything there? That's what life does to us. It makes us want to give up and throw in the towel. But the 10 relates to the Wheel of Fortune, the major arcana. Spin the wheel, learn from those experiences of the past. Spend that time in solitude to learn the secrets of our soul so we can trust our minds to move forward. Page of Swords follows the Ten of Swords, making it an 11. There is that illustration, she's got like a ghost beside her whispering into her. The experiences and the knowledge of the past, she's kind of still focused on that. This is the card of useful information. So we can trust our intuitions by learning from the experience of the past. Maybe that's that voice, that whisper over here on the right, keep going, do not give up. Knight of Swords enjoys chaos, loves chaos, and, faces the chaos with confidence. That definitely looks like somebody that faces chaos with confidence, doesn't it? With the bird and everything they're flying on. That's a really fun illustration. It's like, hiya, keep going. So that's a fun illustration. The Queen of Swords is there with all her butterflies and everything. She's had a lot of pain in her life, but that pain in her life does not stop her. She learns from it. She's stronger because of it. So that is a really awesome illustration there. And it's even like she's got a sword that's a wand, because this painful experience of the past is what gives her the magic, to be that strong foundation in the here and now. 1 and 3 is the number of the queens, so 1 and 3 equals 4, right? King of Swords follows next, and he's got that same kind of experience. You see there, he's missing a leg, so he's definitely had some painful experiences as well. But he's got that light being handed to him because he shined the light on his darkness. He's forgiven the past. And, he's found that strength, and he thinks logically moving forward. The Pentacle suit is next in this sequence. So there is the Ace of Pentacles, taking that idea as above from below and bringing it into reality, embracing the children around us too, and using our own imaginations to really trust ourselves. And there's a weird little poisonous frog right there too, so that's cool. 2 of Pentacles is telling us apparently to gamble, but definitely, don't do that to the point that you run out of all kinds of money. But a little bit here and there isn't a big deal. So this is the card of balance, and she's successful, she's made it. So buy a lottery ticket or something, keep what you have, balance, the work and the fun, have fun and allow yourself, that time for yourself, as well as the hard work and effort that goes into finding more success. The 3 of Pentacles is the card of collaboration, and there is the child with the woman, as they create something beautiful that they all can enjoy. 4 of Pentacles is the card of holding on to your money for a rainy day. And it seems the pumpkin. Who do we meet the pumpkin with? The Empress. The Empress was the card with the pumpkin, right? And that pumpkin seems to have collapsed, but look inside that pumpkin. There are coins. So, the things that might not have that much use anymore, if we turn around and utilize it, if we sell it even, we can save that money for a rainy day. I always say that, like, if you put $5 a day, $5 a day away for a year, you have, I think it's $1,825. So, just a little bit here and there can go a long way. The 5 of Pentacles is the card of being down on your luck financially, or at the very least worrying about it. And this chick definitely seems like she's worried about it, doesn't she? Like, she's sitting in there, she's got the showroom balls and bulbs and everything. The glass seems to be cracked, the one light's missing, so that's where that worry and fear comes in if things start going badly. But 5, that's the number of change and transformation. Change the mindset, we can begin changing our lives for the better. 6 of Pentacles is the sharing is caring card, and there he's got the scales and everything, and he's very balanced. So he's sharing his wisdom and knowledge more than necessarily his money. Now, it'd be really great if there was some pro bono doctor out there, right, that doesn't even care that we don't have health insurance or something, and, helps share, his wisdom and knowledge with us to heal us. That'd be cool. But beautiful illustration. Again, 7 of Pentacles is the next card in the sequence. There is that, and she's sitting there, all her roses are blooming, and she's sitting there and appreciating them. I think my rose has bloomed for the last time, because here we are in the autumn months, and flowers don't exactly bloom in the cold, and it's been really cold. But that's me when my roses bloom. I don't pick them, I don't cut them, I just let them grow. And because I'm not a fan of cut roses or cut flowers, because the issue is, once you cut them, they're no longer there to enjoy. But even if you leave them on the plant, they're definitely going to start fading and going away too. So beautiful illustration, reminding us to have patience with the process. Patience is progress. 8 of Pentacles is the work of practice makes perfect, or the card of practice makes perfect. There is all the different paintings that she has done, all the magic she's brought in, and she's not giving up. The more we practice, the more we perfect our goals, the more success we can find with them. 9 of Pentacles is the card of buying yourself something nice because you've earned it. The card of the successful individual. And there, you got the cat and everything, and she's made this, she worked, she focused, and she's made a name for herself, so now she can purchase whatever she wants. So beautiful illustration. Again, this is such an interesting deck. It goes really well with the energy of the regular, the tarot that we all know and love, like the Rider-Waite-Smith, but the different illustrations give us more than we might have had before. There is the 10 of Pentacles. This is the card of generations of family coming together, or as I like to see it, the card of the ancestors, the blood that flows through our veins and everything like that, and even past lives. And there's all the kids and stuff with all the traditions of Halloween, so that is a really fun illustration. Page of Pentacles is right here. What's interesting about this one is I always point out when it comes to the Page of Pentacles that they're the most focused page of all of them. they seem very focused, but they're looking at you. They're asking, are you focused on your goals? Are you focused on what you want to bring into this earthly existence? They've got that typewriter. They've been typing and typing and typing. So they're not just a beginner. They're putting all that knowledge of everything of the past and bringing magic into their lives because they've learned from the experience of the past and they trust their intuitions. The Knight of Pentacles is the one that works hard no matter how boring and mundane it might be. There is that illustration. Catching a train, it's tired of like riding our broomsticks, that's definitely like hard work, keeping it afloat and stuff in the sky. So here we're going to take advantage of the thing that rolls on tracks, the people that work hard are ready, even if it's boring and mundane, to bring things from point A to point B. Queen of Pentacles. I love this illustration, I know my worth. I know how hard I've worked, and now I'm appreciating the fruits of my labor. So that's a really fun illustration with like the mirror with the ghost hand coming out, pouring that, I've made it. Other people can worship me, other people can give to me, I've given so much of myself. So that's a really fun illustration right there. King of Pentacles makes up the suit of Pentacles. There is that illustration, and he is a teacher, it seems. The knowledge and wisdom of the past can help be applied to the future. When we find our earthly powers, when we feel grounded and content in our lives, we can inspire the next generation. So that is a fun illustration. The Ace of Cups is right here, and you see like she's bringing magic, she's bringing joy to these people. She has this idea, potential. I like how the potential energies of this like ghostly spiritual things. It's really cool. Two of Cups, the card of emotionally fulfilling partnerships, right there, and they definitely seem emotionally fulfilled. Even though she kind of looks uninterested, doesn't she? But they're toasting their cups, and they have that potential together too, so that's really fun. Three of Cups has Christmas holiday vibes, doesn't it? So you see there, they're celebrating together. They've got their boots on, they're enjoying the snow and everything, and they're taking pictures. This is a very modern deck. You've taken the pictures and everything of everything going on, and maybe that'll inspire new creative endeavors when they get home from enjoying this night out light up of the tree and everything. Four of Cups is the card of boredom. This is an interesting card about that. It's kind of like, the people like there that can help us when we feel bored and uninterested, to tell us all the things that we have to appreciate. So that's a fun illustration. The Five of Cups is the card of feeling, the card of crying over spilled milk, like focusing on the past, letting those feelings of negativity pull us under. And you see like there the ghost of potential and everything. But this dude seems to have like lost his wife or lost his loved one, and so he's got all of her clothes and everything around him. Remember that Four of Pentacles idea that we had, throwing away or selling things that we don't necessarily need anymore? He might be able to do that, or even, donate it so he can feel good about it and help somebody else in the process and change and transform his life in the process too. Six of Cups is the card of nostalgia, and there is that illustration, potential from the nostalgia of the past. She's reflecting and learning from her past, inspiring the next generation, her child, and there's all the potential for new ideas to grow from that. So that is a really awesome illustration. The Seven of Cups is the card of choices, and there is all those spiritual, ghostly ideas and potential that make her heart sing. So she's got that book. She's learning about each of them individually so she can overcome the obstacle of too many choices. The average person makes over 35,000 choices in a single day. So, take that time. If you can do that, you can make whatever choice you need to do moving forward. Next up, we have the Eight of Cups, the card of leaving behind what no longer emotionally satisfies us. And, she's got a lot to deal with. She's got a lot to face. A lot of burned bridges and things in the past that no longer exist. She has to let them go so she can get that suitcase and just move forward and find success in something else. Nine of Cups is the wish card of the tarot. Learning from those experiences of the past can help you make whatever wish you want to come true moving forward. And there's that pumpkin again. Pumpkin, I'm going to have to look it up. It might be in the guidebook, but pumpkins seem to have like some kind of like energy there, like some kind of meaning that go throughout the deck, and that might be something really useful to know. But you see all those cups up there, the things that worked out, the things that didn't, and you're able to take that knowledge and wisdom and apply it to the next chapter. No magic training needed, no fairy godmother needed, just you. When you learn from those experiences of the past, you have the power to make all of your wishes come true. Then 10 of Cups, the card of the happy family, is another card that made me fall fall in love with this deck. You know, when you see it on Amazon, they give you different pictures and everything. And this is a card that I saw and I absolutely love the energy of it, because the way that I see the Ten of Cups is, you know, the Rider-Waite-Smith and so many other illustrations show the mother, father, son, and daughter. That's one and one only aspect or example of a happy family. This one reminds you, you know, it's who makes you, fills your cup up, who just understands you, your soul family, the ones that you can trust and everything. For my husband and I, it's our cat, you know, that's our happy family. It's the things that complete you and fill you with joy. And for these people in this illustration, they're happy together. They don't need the father, mother, father, son, and daughter to feel complete and happy. They're happy just because they found them each other and they feel whole and complete together. They're best friends. Like, that is an awesome illustration. I love that. The Page of Cups, this is a really fun illustration, isn't it? Like, the kid just blowing bubbles and she's got the fish right there. The fish are all in those little potential things. So, you know, when you embrace your inner child, you out there and you actually get a bubble wand and you start blowing it. That can be fun too. That can help you bring that child out to have fun and enjoy life. The Knight of Cups follows the Page of Cups, and she's having a blast too, listening to and following her heart. You know, I love myself. I trust myself, and now I'm going to let my heart lead me to creating a life that I love and enjoy. So that's a fun, awesome illustration. The Queen of Cups is next. There is that illustration right there. You know, she's very focused on making sure everybody else around her is happy. You see that, like, she's definitely doing that. And this is really cool. I don't know. You can kind of tell right now. But look. It's the same. Like, I need to go back through and see if the rest of these do this. Because there you see the mother and the father, you know, those two people toasting their cups together, the husband and the wife. She's focused on, like, everything going well. And he's like, just take this cup. I can give you happiness and joy, you know. Focus on your happiness too. So that is so cool that they connect together like that, isn't it? Then, of course, we get to the Suit of Wands, and the Ace of Wands begins with the little child bringing magic in his life because he's passionate. You know, he took that wand from that. So, you know, wands are fun. Like, you can point them and, you know, bring magic with them. I always had this idea. I don't know how true it is, so if you can fact check me on this, actually that'd be really cool. But back, like, when Merlin was alive, you know, the magician Merlin, I think the way that he made things and he created things was like the vibrational sound of, like, music and stuff. Those vibrations and those frequencies with his wand could actually levitate things. I really do believe that. I don't know why I believe that. I don't know how I believe that, but that's just what I imagine. So that Ace of Wands kind of says, you know, that's an idea you have, you're passionate about. Maybe put it to action and see if it works. Two of Wands is the card of should I stay or should I go? There is that illustration, and that's exactly what that dude's doing, you know? Should I keep focusing on this or should I bring life to this? So it's all about choices. And then maybe he made the choice. Maybe he absolutely made the choice to just walk away from all of it. You know, there's the broom, there's the idea, there's the passion. Leaving behind, oh, and they're taking the cat too. That's important. But, you know, following that passion, following that path that feels right to us. And the beautiful thing about my favorite card in the tarot, the Three of Wands, is the fact that we follow our own paths, we follow our own passions, we inspire others to do the same. So that is a really awesome illustration. I like that one a lot. The Four of Wands is often seen as the card of, like, a wedding or celebration or something such as that. And that seems to be exactly what they're doing in this illustration, appreciating the strong foundation they have together. You know, the lights and everything are shining from them. They found each other. They have that love for each other. But of course, you know, I always want to see the Four of Wands as finding that strong foundation within as well, finding that love and appreciation and that passion within, that we trust ourselves just as much and celebrate the love we have for ourselves just as much as we do someone else. So that is I love this illustration. You know, it's just like appreciate that strong foundation we have in our lives as well as the one we have within. Five of Wands is two very interesting fences. I don't think that's the right word, but hey, you know what I'm talking about, I assume. And they've got the swords there, you know. It's very, Five of Wands is the card of immaturity and everything, but they seem very calm and collected, you know. They have different opinions, different ideas, but they each have their own passions to focus on so they can change and transform their lives for the better. And you see there, they're similar in their thoughts too, with that, what kind of looks like a fool to me on their arm tattoos. So that is a really cool aspect of it. Six of Wands is the card of celebrating our victories, no matter how small that might be. And there is that illustration right there, you know, she's bringing magic. Other people appreciate her, but she's very focused, you know, learning from that iPad or that tablet or whatever. so that she can bring magic and passion into her own life. So that is a really cool illustration. Again, they're so different than regular tarot, yet the energy is still there from the meanings that we all know and love. There's the Seven of Wands, the card of defending our passions against the ones that don't believe in us. And there is those wands coming against. But she's saving those kittens because she's passionate about it. She might not even have all the answers yet. It looks kind of like she's a little bit homeless, right? She's got a band-aid on her knee. She's had a lot of struggles in her life, but she's still willing to help the little guy, to help those kittens. So that is a really awesome illustration. The Eight of Wands is the card of our passions making life move forward more quickly. Also, the number of success and wealth. So if we want to find that success and wealth, then we have to be willing to put in, keep going even when things get difficult, to work hard, to put up with the stress and everything that comes with people wanting what we have to offer. So that's a really fun illustration there because, it's all witches on their wands and everything, or on their brooms, flying and inspiring the people down below. So that is a fun illustration. Nine of Wands is next. That is the card of looking over our shoulders, wondering when the next shoe is going to drop. And she seems to be doing that exact thought, There's the wands of the past and everything. I open this. Am I going to have what it takes? 9 is the Hermit, the number that contains the energy of all the numbers that have come before it. So by, appreciating and learning from those experiences of the past, we absolutely can trust ourselves to begin the next chapter. And here is the next chapter, the overwhelming card, the 10 of Wands. But she doesn't seem to be that overwhelmed, does she? She's hugging them. She's overwhelmed by them, sure, but she brought them to life. So even if we feel overwhelmed in life, remember that magic that lives within us. Remember, any time is a time to begin the next chapter, to trust ourselves, to leave behind the overwhelming feelings because we're further than we think on our goals. Page of Wands is next, and here is that illustration, the fireworks, the enjoyable energy there, the entertaining energy and everything, the stairs and stuff, just beginning, but you know what you want and you're not afraid to follow that passion. You can find the king status, queen status, and be successful with what lights your inner fire. Knight of Wands is the card that I call the flighty knight. There he is. And, he's got a lot going on in this illustration. He's even like the fire over here, that might be that whisper of something new, something, that distracts you from your goal, but he doesn't seem to be distracted. And it reminds us, soldier on, focus on what lights our inner fire. If we stay and remain focused, just like he is trying to remain focused, we absolutely can create something beautiful. See that flower right there created? Like the Queen of Wands, I feel, is the most creative queen that there is because she's very focused. She's even like taking a picture of it perhaps so she can share it with the world. And the cat's even interested in it because it's probably wavy and moving, and cats are really fun when it comes to that, right? Because they're really interested in like catching it. A good example of that is I have like a little sun catcher that has like things that kind of like crystals, but they're plastic, so they're not exactly crystals, but they make rainbows on the floor, and I hung it in my kitchen window. And so every time the sun shines through it, it's only about like an hour or 2 hours during the day, my cat is right there on the floor trying to catch all of the different sun rays that come through it. So that kind of reminded me of that. Okay, last but certainly not least in this deck, because it's an awesome deck, right? The King of Wands, the storyteller, the traveler. He's had this experiences. He has that wand beside him, and he's not afraid to begin something again, the potential. And the beautiful thing about the King of Wands and his energy, Leo energy connected to the King of Wands, he's been out there, he's shined a light, he's shown the world, he's seen the world. And by sharing those stories with the next generation, he's inspiring them to follow their passions too. So this is a beautiful deck, and it absolutely goes with that Find Your Magic, because it all reminds us, of the magic that lives within us. As I said, the guidebook is right there. There is a lot of interesting information. There is reading and interpreting the magical tarot cards. So it's kind of like just the before reading and stuff like that, like the different spreads and stuff that you can use, of course. I can read you one of these. Let's see which one. Well, I'll just randomly open up to one. The Five of Pentacles. Let's focus on the Five of Pentacles. It says the magic is depleted, blocked by fear and apathy. Those linked to the Five of Pentacles has used their energy in a dispersive manner without focus. An excess of physical and emotional burdens have left them weak. Life at times can crush those who tend to take on others' battles and difficulties, making them their own. When this happens, you must take a moment to gather yourself and learn to ask others for help. You must must not be afraid to talk about your own weaknesses. It is a period of stalemates and instability. Energies and in concentration are at a low, and now is not the time to start new projects. So there is a very different kind of meaning right there, but it kind of just makes sense, doesn't it? The reason we feel depleted, not good enough, is because we're giving too much of our energy to somebody else. So again, like, the guidebook is really useful. This, like I said earlier, if you get a reading with this deck, you know, by booking one directly on my website, message me on the socials, or getting one, you know, commenting on this video, then I will absolutely share that guidebook with you as well. But for now, I'm just going to send you on your way. Thank you for watching. Again, the deck to purchase will be in the link in the description below if you want to add it to your own collection. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's really cool. I just messed that up as I was talking. You know, remember, it's sitting on the side here. It absolutely is. The box that is just for the deck, and I'm just putting it in this box. Now, I suppose you could do that if you didn't want to use this box, but why wouldn't you, right? I can't get it there on the video because, you know, I don't have the space to do it. Plus, they just fit in there so snugly that they don't exactly want to go in there. There we go. Back into the box they go. They do fit beautifully, again, snugly, so you know they are nice and safe in there. They don't all want to push down. There we go. Then we close the box back up, and then we put that box in the box. We put the guidebook on top, and we shove this drawer back into its box. And that is the Find Your Magic Tarot, published by US Games Incorporated. You know, US Game Systems Incorporated. We all know this, right? Yeah, because it's an awesome publisher. That's who we can trust. There's so many great publishers of tarot decks out there, so many indie decks out there. And, you know, you get like me and you find a love and a passion for this, your collection can definitely grow. I'd love to hear how many decks you'd have in your collection if you want to put that down in the comments below. And again, as always, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you find your magic within so you can trust yourself and follow your passion. I wish you the best in everything you do, and I'll see you again in the next one.